Owens rips off his shirt. He's literally starting to rip off his shirt, and I'm like, oh God, what is he doing? But thankfully, there's another shirt underneath.
He's not crazy.
Yeah. So we got Owens and Zayn versus Balor and Priest for the tag team titles in a Steel City street fight. Balor at one point pulls out a bucket of terrible towels, and then he stomps on one of them to the boos of the crowd. But Owens takes him out, and then the crowd starts cheering because they love their towels in Pittsburgh. Owens rips off his shirt. He's literally starting to rip off his shirt, and I'm like, oh God, what is he doing? But thankfully, there's another shirt underneath.
He's not crazy.
Yeah. And he reveals that it is a Terry Funk shirt, which was a nice little touch. There's a moment where Owens is stomping Priest. Just the intensity, I thought was really awesome. Match spills out into the ring, or outside of the ring, and then they move out into the crowd because, I don't know, they seem to be doing that a lot lately. I think that's a Triple H thing. It's starting to become a trope. Like, if you're doing that on Raw, why are you doing that on a pay-per-view? The pay-per-view is supposed to be special. The pay-per-view is supposed to be the thing we don't see on Raw. But if you're doing the same shit that you do on Raw that you do on the pay-per-view, then it don't make any fucking sense. It's not special.
There's no commercials, I guess.
There is commercials because I'm cheap and I have the lower Peacock.
You don't have commercials during the match.
Might as well.
After the match.
So then while they're in the crowd, Dirty Dom comes out to help. And he does help. And the Judgment Day, they throw Owens and Zayn behind a barricade or a table or whatever the fuck. And then the Judgment Day, they're strategizing how they're going to beat Owens and Zayn. They come up with this brilliant idea to bring them back to the ring and pin them. So then they turn back to Owens and Zayn, who are standing with fucking hockey gear on. Gloves, jerseys. And it was at this point, I decided, you know what? I don't care who wins this match. I don't care.
It was also at this point that, or at least for me, I noticed that Kevin Owens was bleeding from his head.
He was bleeding from his head. There's a point where Owens does a swanton to Dirty Dom through a table from the upper level of the stands.
Completely misses the table. Well, not completely, but he overshot it.
Sammy goes through for a hell of a kick. Priest throws a trash can in his face. Priest tries a razor's edge onto Sammy, but Sammy gets out of it and then crotches Balor, who is waiting in anticipation for his coup de grace, do a little double team move. Then Sami Zayn takes on Priest and Balor all by himself. Then McNugget breaks up the pin attempt. Owens does a pop-up Balor bomb to McNugget on the announce table. Then Ripley spears Owens through the barricade, which was the only awesome part of this match. Rhea sold it perfectly. Sammy hits a hell of a kick to Balor. Mysterio hits Sammy with a briefcase. Balor rolls on to Sammy for the win. And the Judgment Day are all hard now because they have an accumulation of lesser titles that they can brag about now.
Yeah. It was very surprising that this is how they ended the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn tag team title run, winning it from the Bloodline for this. But I guess it's to further the story with the Judgment Day. I did enjoy this match. I was thoroughly sports entertained. Even the hockey thing, I was okay with that.
They had gloves, and then they
did the penalty fight on Dom.
Yeah, they fucking did. They dropped the gloves and no.
I liked it. I was sports entertained. Kevin Owens, he overshot that swanton. I thought he was hurt again. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Because if you watch it back, he definitely overshot, hit his knee right on the concrete. And I was like, well, that's it for Kevin Owens. But he was able to make his way back in the match. But I did enjoy all of it. Maybe it was a little bit too much, Judgment Day interference thing, but
there was a lot of that.
I was sports entertained.